Hello out there. I hope all is well with everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Rocker Dog Podcast, the one and only show that talks to musical artists about their dogs and how integral they are to our lives. I'm your host, Tim Dill, along with my best boy, Charlie, and today we're delighted to share our conversation with singer-songwriter Johanna Samuels, whose new album, Bystander, was released on June 23rd. And this is her disarming rocker dog.
My rocker dog is June. Her name's June, and she's a mix. She was a rescue. She'll tell you herself.
Okay, get her on.
She's like a terrier mix. She's got a bunch of stuff in her, like hound dog, and hold on, I gotta get her.
Okay.
This is my girl.
She's a cutie. I wonder if it's funny, I feel like dogs don't do good with screens. Like if I stuck my dog up, they probably wouldn't even see each other.
I know, hold on. We're going to make this happen.
No eye contact on the
yeah,
video.
She's like, I want other things. But yeah, that's her.
And how old is she?
She's 7.
Getting up there.
No, don't say that.
I understand she shares a birthday with Nina Simone and Leonardo DiCaprio. Does she know that and appreciate that?
Oh, I tell her every day.
And when is her birthday? I know sometimes rescues don't have accurate birthdays, but what do you tend to celebrate?
February 21st. That was just what the rescue service told us. They had found her entire litter in a box, abandoned when they were like super baby. So that was the number they gave us. And I was like, well, she shares that. I like that date. Yeah. And she's Pisces.
Does she like the water? I feel like some of your posts said no, like you were by the ocean or somewhere. And
yeah, she's not really down with the ocean. I think she gets a little scared. Like big noises scare her a little bit. She likes baths, weirdly.
That's good. And whereabouts was she? Where were you? Where was she found? Where was this rescue?
The rescue service was in Simi Valley. I think it has since shut down. Apparently, Box was found near like a breeding lab. So I think that it was kind of like they were a mistake on your batch of babies. And so they were like, this doesn't work. But it worked for me.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's nice to hear. And what was the context, going back 7 years? What was going on in your life? What was going on that made you seek out June?
Well, I had been living in New York for 10 years with my boyfriend at the time, and we both love dogs a lot, but we could never really bring ourselves to get a dog in New York just because of the lifestyle, and we were hustling so much. We were in our 20s, and after all that time there, we were moving to LA. I somewhat grew up in LA, and he is from LA, and I was very hesitant to move back, and so the deal was if we did move back that we would get a dog, and that was So I had to go.
Okay. And what was the kind of the process like looking for a dog? Was it quick?
It was, it's weird. I had the dog on my mind, obviously, like we're going to get a dog. But then I dog sat our friend's dog who was a terrier. I growing up, I had a beagle and an English shepherd, which are both pretty soft haired dogs. And I never really had connected with, this like bearded, scruffy wizard type of dog. Right. And we dog sat this dog named Leia, who was another terrier with the very soulful eyes and the scruffy fur. And I just fell in love with Leia. And then it was, I think, 2 weeks of dog sitting her. So it was enough time to I was like, I love you. And and so I knew that as the time was approaching that we were going to have to return Leia, I was like, we are going to have to eclipse this dog because I'm going to have like an emotional reaction when this dog leaves. So I downloaded the Pet Finder app and I was like on it. Like, it was like, it's a lot like Tinder or something. No, I at the time did not understand dating apps and still don't really, but it was like, like you like kind of put in what you're generally looking for. And then like all these dogs like pop up and you're like, oh my God, you're so cute, you're so cute, you're cute. And then I saw her brother, who was like a black, scruffy version of her, and Leia was black. So I was like, okay, this looks like a perfect swap, swap in, swap out. And then we got there, and Romeo was gone, but they still had like, I think like 5 or so of the litter left, and there was another black dog. They were all so ridiculously beautiful, cute. But my boyfriend at the time and I were like, what about the one with the eyes in the back, that brown one? And she was kind of small and getting like pushed around by her brothers and sisters. And she just had these eyes that like connect. They almost like stared through you, even when she was like this big.
Right.
And we were like, okay. And she has like this little white paint dipped tail and like the white boots. And we were like, that's my girl.
Too perfect.
Yeah. And we brought her home.
That's great. Now, looking through your Instagram, I see you have obviously a lot of love, and I pulled a lot of, I'll call it quotes. They're not really quotes, but it's what you've mentioned. And one is on a recent birthday was, I don't have the words for how grateful I am for Junie and the love, healing, and humor she brings to everyone she meets without judgment. Yeah. Now, I think we all understand the love, the unconditional love of a dog is kind of the cliche everyone goes with. What I want to kind of dig into is the healing and the humor. And let's not start too heavy, but let's go with the humor first. What about her that you love about her humor? Or how does she bring humor into your life?
Well, I don't know if you can hear her talking right now, but she's extremely she's like a person in a lot of ways. Like she talks all the time. And I don't think she has any husky in her or anything, but she has like a very funny way of like chiming in.
Right.
Which, like, she's quite literally funny in that way. But just like the presence and immediacy with which she like sees the world can just take me out of myself in such a, she just reminds me, you're like, we're here on earth, like we're fine, like, and for now. Yeah, she also is like, I love what I love, like you're worried about this, and he's like little like, what did I say, and blah blah blah, and she's like, I like food, like or like she just like keeps it so real. But she also talks, and that is so funny. Also her hair, like she has so many like little, she's such a funny little person. She has this kind of like wavy hair up top, and when she like gets excited or kind of like flipped out, it kind of goes up on its own, which is so funny to me because it's like its own little communication that she has.
Yeah.
It happened the other day in the studio with Eric. We were playing a song and she like came in and her hair was just like so big. I don't know how. And then other times it's kind of like wavy little like toupee. But yeah, she's freaking hilarious.
That's great. It's funny, lately I've been spying on my dog. Like when I let him go out, he's got a yard that he can run around in, and I let him go out and then I watch him. And it's just so funny to see them process what's in front of them.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And like she also does stuff sometimes where she'll like see like a statue of something and be like, oh, you know, like
assess the threat.
Yeah. Be like, stay away from my family, by the way. Like kind of, and you're like, that is like a life-size cutout of Shaquille O'Neal. But yeah, like she's just like living through her little lens. I love it.
That's great. Well, on the flip side of that, as I said, the healing part, I noticed there also, I'll go back to your Instagram where you've said, this dog saved my life. I'm so grateful. You're my reason to believe. So I'm curious to that, those two those quotes. You know, I've heard before where a dog has been a lifesaver. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to talk to the certain musicians that I've pulled those quotes from. But how so? You know, has she been a lifesaver to you? How so is she your reason to believe?
Yeah. I mean, I've just been in some truly, truly dark places in dealing with some very difficult life stuff, some of which she was there for, that she experienced that was very, very scary. And she, even when she's horrified or scared, she just has such a purity of love in general, but like connection. We're so connected. And she's so much stronger than me in a lot of ways because I think of how her mind works. Because even sometimes when we've experienced some of the same very, very, very scary things, her instincts are to just connect and to just be together in the most present way. And it sounds like a cliche, but she really knows when someone's hurting. And she is such a healer. I wish I could describe to you the way that she can be physically close to people. It's like a very crazy healing presence. And she's down to connect with anyone, which is also very healing to see. But obviously, selfishly for me, she's my daughter. So
right.
I mean, she sleeps like passenger side in my bed. She's like my ride or die. Like, and she will, sleep with like head on the chest. She's just like, she's not a tiny dog. She's not a big dog. She's like 30 pounds. So she's got like a good hug to her. And just down to like also physically heal you with like love. I was talking the other day about maybe we were even talking about June. I don't even know. But like hugs. And Eric was talking about what is that woman's name? Like Alma something, who like hugs people and heals them with maternal energy. But Junie has some sort of magic with her with like her physical touch.
Right.
Yeah, she's definitely been there in moments where I definitely was like, should I go on? That kind of dark night of the soul stuff. And
she remembers. She's there.
Like, that sucked. But she just shows up in those moments in ways that like a lot of people disappear. They're really hard times. And she's just so true.
That's great. That's so wonderful to hear. And you've mentioned it, and even in the quote I said, to everyone she meets, do you get feedback like that? Do people often, are they surprised, like, gosh, this dog really, kind of touches my soul?
Oh, yeah. 100%. I feel like it's like one of those, like, she's my dog. So it might mean nothing coming from me, but she's a very special dog. She disarms people in a lot of ways, I think. She really like gives off a softness and a love. And then even when she's sassy, like she can be sassy too. And like, she's kind of like an independent woman, but like when she chooses to love you, which is most of the time, if she's sassy, it's probably because she's like, I want a treat now. Or like, but yeah, she's got this like, and I mean, from the time she was a puppy, she had this like weird disarming thing where we were like, whoa, what about that one? Like, and she was just in the back, kind of like the eyes. She's got these like deep, deep, deep eyes. Because I tour so much these days, when I'm home, I actually still share her with my ex. Me and my partner are no longer together, but we share her. And it's like beautiful. It's great. I mean, it's hard. Every time I say goodbye, I cry. Like we've been separated for a very, very long time at this point. And I'm like, I just love her so much. So who could blame me?
What's the arrangement with your ex? It's funny, that's coming up more and more in this podcast.
Is it?
That people are splitting time with their dog. I mean, splitting time equally, and sometimes they're very far apart. And
oh yeah, I mean, I get it, and I mean, he's an amazing person. I've had exes that I would never let near my dog ever again, but like he put the money down to like for the adoption fee, kind of, like he got this dog with me, and he says a lot that he got it for me, got her, not it. But the arrangement kind of now is so generous and very mature about it. When I'm home, I have her usually. Like she's always with me. And then if I'm gone, which it has been more and more, he has her. And it kind of works out in that way very naturally. Because he does a lot of working from home. also for his job, he's been traveling a lot more, and Eric and Annie have kind of become her godparents or
Right.
uncle and aunt, but also mom number two and one, or dad, whatever, number twos. Um, but he's usually around to have her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, you said I've never missed anyone so much, and I assume that's on a tour situation. What's the longest you guys have been apart?
Definitely like multiple months, probably like 4 or 5 months or so.
Oh, wow. Is that
Yeah.
like a tour situation?
Yeah, like many tours connected that like didn't bring me home, or like if I did play LA, I was like I can't like just see her and then be like bye
And
again. So
then
I
leave,
like
yeah.
let her be with her dad, and then yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And does her dad in his situation, do they speak of her the same way? Do they get
Oh,
the, I mean, I know you make it, it's so nice to have a unique connection to an animal. And it's nice that the animal can share it. But I'm curious if your ex has kind of the same kind of vibe and, soulfulness to his relationship.
totally. He just adores her.
Yeah.
And he's very active. He's outside a lot, and he gives her a lot of sun and outdoor, and
Hmm.
I think we bring different things to her. Like I would never want to take away what he brings to her life,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, totally.
it's all goodness. Yeah. But
It's like an actual mother, father, child,
yeah,
arrangement. It's like,
yeah,
well, dad takes me to amusement parks, and mom
yeah.
keeps me
I
clothed, and
night. Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
that's great. Pulling another quote: "Dogs are my religious faith."
I cannot. These quotes are like they're increasingly like more and more like this girl might not be like okay.
No, but I love it because it gives me so much to talk about, because I do have a list of go-to questions that I can ask anybody, but I like to get specific. And even for this question, you mentioned in comedic way, I think, that June is a Buddhist.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe tie those two together. Why is
Yeah.
she a Buddhist? I only know top line of Buddhism, kind of the
I
principles,
mean,
but why do you say that in particular?
well, she is the presence. We've talked about the presence.
Hmm.
She's so in the moment. I mean, because of how dogs' minds work, like even if there's something that she doesn't want happening, if it passes most of the time within a short amount of time, she's let it go. There's not a lot of suffering. And she has definitely like she tore her ACL, and we didn't get the surgery. She was like healing on her own. She definitely doesn't. I never want to speak for her and say that she doesn't suffer, but she doesn't hang on to suffering
Right.
in the same way. And I wasn't raised religiously, so I'm like culturally Jewish, and I definitely consider myself to be spiritual, and I'm always trying to figure out what I think about the
Right.
world and how we're all connected. And she seems to have the best grasp on it. So
Right.
I guess she is my religion. That's
Okay.
I
That
sound
makes
very I think dogs. Can I just zoom
Yeah,
out?
and that was your quote. Dogs are my
Okay.
religious faith.
Well, that's healthier, but also a lot. But yeah.
But I've often said, this goes back to like the emotional support dog.
Yeah.
And many times I've heard on this show that the artist is in a depressive state, but they know they've got something to care for and something
Yeah.
that's got to get them out of bed.
Yes.
I totally get that, but often from my point of view, I mean, I'm lucky that I don't suffer from much anxiety, depression, but I look at the dog and almost aspire to be more like my dog. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of how they are to me, and I think that's what you're getting at that a little bit too. Like
100%.
you're looking at your dog as like he's got it. She and he. Mine's a he. Yours is a she.
Yeah.
Not that they've got it figured out, but everything you've been saying, their approach to everything. It's primal and it kind of simplifies things. Whereas a human, everything with us has got to be super complex,
Totally.
and we make it. We're our own worst enemies sometimes. Whereas
Mhm.
dogs are really rarely, well, knock on wood, rarely their own worst enemies. I mean, some dogs, maybe,
Yeah.
but I think you get what
Squirrel.
I'm.
her thing with squirrels, I'm like, you gotta be careful, girl. He becomes someone else.
Has she ever caught one?
One time. It was the scariest thing that ever happened. Probably to either of us, because I don't think she ever thought that she could. Obviously, like she gets obsessed with squirrel, but yeah, she could be her own worst enemy. But one time she got one and it shrieked and it was like, "Ah!" And then I was like, oh, and she was like, oh, and like I think her jaw literally dropped because she was so shocked that she got it. And the squirrel got out of her mouth and like scuttled up the tree. And we both just looked at each other and we were like, oh my God.
That's a lesson in be careful what you wish for.
I know. She was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, so you're like a murderer too.
She doesn't have that cat instinct where it's just cold-blooded killer.
Yeah.
One thing you said I want to circle back on, I have a note about a bee sting, and you had mentioned the ACL tear. So I'm just curious about certain, I'll say drama. Has there been much drama in terms of either a vet emergency situation or whatever it may be?
Yeah. I mean, the ACL thing was like, oh my God, it was horrible. It was during a very bad time. It was like peak pandemic, going through a very hard time personally. And, all of a sudden she just like, her leg was up. She like couldn't walk with her leg.
And did you see the incident? Was it,
yeah,
or did she just come out and like, why are you limping?
Looking back, it was like, we would go on walks and usually she likes to go on long walks. And then she always kind of lets me know what she wants. And like, if we were like walking like a couple times and like, it would be like, like a block. And then she would sit down and I'd be like, you good? Like, and I thought she was kind of like emotional or like something. That's me projecting my
right
onto her. Like, you are depressed. You want to be seen. You like, what? And she's like, no, my leg hurts. Like, but so I would like pick her up and carry her home. And I didn't really know what was going on. But every time she would sit down, I'd pick her up. And then within that week, she gets Zoomies and she gets really excited. She just had Zoomies with my neighbor who liked to play with her. And all of a sudden it was like Zoomies and like leg was up. And I was like, whoa. And then, I checked it for stickers and there was nothing for me to like pull out of her paw or anything. And I was like, oh, this is bad. And she just straight up could not walk with that leg. And it was because it was a pandemic. It was like, she's like,
she's like, I don't want to relive that.
Yeah. She's like, Mom, it was bad. But it was like only a not drive by. Like you could
like
only
drop off
car service. Car service.
Yep.
So I couldn't go in with her and she was in so much pain. Like I had never seen her in so much pain. Like you could just see she was just so withdrawn from herself and like she was limping and, walking with 3 legs and I was in pieces.
Okay.
But, yeah. And then navigating that as, like joint custody, that was so hard. Not because we were like disagreeing on anything, but because it was just like, she was in so much pain. We didn't want to move her too much. Like we needed her to rest. She didn't understand why she couldn't, do the things she like to do, like jump up on the bed or, it was just a little hellish. But the bee sting, she's been stung a couple times, but when she does, she gets so sad and but then we give her Benadryl, which like selfishly, she's never cuter than when she takes Benadryl. She's like, I'm tender, I need love, and I'm just like a full blown blob that will like be held for hours. And that's my heaven. But like, I hate that she's in pain. But yeah,
that's too funny. Well, on the topic of Zoomies, that's what I call the last questions, the Zoomies. So let's do that to wrap up the show.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw one more question at the end. But the first question is, do you kiss June on the mouth?
100%.
Okay, that's the answer. That's the answer I'm looking for. But I don't always get it. I get people hedging and saying, "Oh well, top of the snout or top of the head." So happy to hear it. Happy to hear it.
Like,
And I'm
definitely like Frenched. Not, no, I haven't Frenched back, but there's been a
yes.
surprise, like, whoa. But I love it.
I think out of 40 some odd episodes, we've only had 2 guests that have copped to Frenching their dog. So I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But no Frenching. Question 2 is, does June have a theme song? Like, what would her walk-up music to the plate be? Or if she was a prize fighter, her walk-up music to the ring?
Yeah. I mean, she has so many. I sing songs to her all day, like in total, like weird little songs, but those are not her theme songs. I always think of the Sparkle Horse song Junebug, because, like, bring me some luck, little Junebug. It's just
Perfect.
her little heart. That's her. But also, like, if she were gonna like,
I think she wants to answer.
she has her own songs in mind. But like sometimes it's like that song that's like, to be real, got to
I know.
be real, got to be real. That's like her other. That's when she's like sassy.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Love them both. Question 3 is, do you personify her and give her a tone of voice for herself ever?
I'm trying to think. I've thought this question many times. Like, if she just spoke one day, like, what would she sound like? And I just don't know. I feel like she has like, she would be like a mature voice, but like with a quirk to it. Right. If she could speak.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, I definitely have like.
But what's the dog voice you speak to her with? Is that something you can share or describe?
Yeah. I mean,
she's like, here it comes.
Junie, can you see?
I want to see her eyes. Yeah, those eyes, it's funny. Those terriers in their eyes really do. I see her looking right through you.
She's like, I want something. I know what it is that you want, Junie. Oh, I love her. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
I understand it's hard to do, when you're not in the moment.
I can't believe this is going to be like, anyone can hear this soon.
That's you and your PR person.
Yeah, I'll be like, I made a huge mistake. I seem insane on a podcast.
Well, I've pitched this many times to PR folks as, this shows a side of the artist that the fans don't normally see. So you're delivering in spades, and I appreciate it.
This is the real us.
Okay, I'm changing up the last question. The last question is, if you took June on tour, what would she insist be on the rider?
Oh my gosh. What do you want, Junie? What's on your rider? She loves cucumbers.
Really?
And apples. She loves jicama. She wants jicama.
What's that?
Oh. It's like gosh, how would I describe it? It's like a cross between it's a veggie. It's like a very crunchy, crisp, not cucumber, not celery. It's like a very fresh, almost like coconutty, but no coconut flavor.
Right. Huh. I'll have to Google that.
Oh, it's delicious. It's like a thing that you cut up, and it's like this delicious, crunchy veggie.
Okay. But it's a very audible treat for your dog to like crunch on, and it's part of the charm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I give her I try and size out the bite so it's like big enough to get a good crunch, but not too big for her. And then she's like,
I love it. So the one question I want to ask, it's not even a question, but there's a heart-shaped poop on a rug way back when, I think, in her early days. And is that
so far back?
Well, I was trying to find that first picture. There's somebody always usually posts that first picture of like, I want to introduce, June.
Yes.
But I found that, and it was, obviously it was very funny, but that was just an early,
she was a puppy at that point.
But that's a good sign.
It was. I was like, of course. She was being house trained. She had some little, she was learning, and one of her poops was just like a straight up like bloop, bloop.
She even poops love.
She pooped a love bomb.
Well, as I said when we were talking before recording, I will post certain images I find from your Instagram for my audience, and you can bet that'll be one of them. And that's nothing to be embarrassed about. I hope you're not embarrassed. It's just, June is full of love.
She's just full of love.
She's so full of love, she's pooping it out.
She's literally pooping hearts. When I was, like 19 years old, my friend Ben, we went to film school, and I wrote this song called I Want to Write a Love Song, and he had this whole concept for the video, and it was like around Valentine's Day when we shot it, and we got these like peep hearts, and like one of the like shots of the video is like me sitting on the toilet, and then like I like get up, and then like there's a shot of the toilet, and there's all these like red little peeps in there, and then I like flush the toilet, and I'm like, and then I'm like mother like daughter.
Is that available on YouTube or any of your websites?
Oh my God. It's really old and the song isn't even available anymore, but I might be re-recording it soon.
Okay. Well, you gotta remake the video as well.
The hairdo was bad at that moment in time. So maybe
was that the blonde? I remember seeing.
Oh no,
when June was a puppy.
Yes, I guess I was blonde when she was a puppy. I was bleach blonde, but this was like a thick bang with this was a lot. This was a bad move.
All right. Well, you've sacrificed enough for me on this show that I'll spare you digging up all of your past.
Oh my God.
But before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to promote? Do you have anything coming on this summer?
Yeah, I have a record coming out on June 23rd called Bystander. And I will say the record, the like vinyl they're going to be so, so beautiful. And they're like full of all these amazing paintings done by my friend Allison Yarrow Pierce. But one of the inner sleeves of it features Junie. There's a painting of Junie in a very funny situation. But so I couldn't encourage you more to go get that vinyl. But yeah, and then I'm playing some shows. I'm going to do a little touring, running around playing shows. I'm playing a festival in the Chicago area. I'm going to be doing some release shows and like hitting some of the major cities, probably in July, early July, end of June.
Yeah. And I hear June already sobbing in sadness that you're going to.
That's the one thing. I got to sort that out. How do I tour my butt off like I do and want to do more of and just have my girl with me?
Yeah.
It can be done, I think. But I want to make sure she has what she needs. So
yeah, of course. Well, it's good that you've got a trusting
my doggy daddy.
Well, Johanna, thank you so much for coming on. This was very entertaining for me, and this is going to soon be one of my favorite episodes. So I appreciate you providing it.
Oh my gosh! Well, thank you for having us, and thanks for doing what you do.
It's all my pleasure. Bye, June.
Bye, June.
All right. An enormous amount of gratitude to Johanna Samuels for coming on the show and sharing both the humorous and more profound benefits of having a dog in one's life. Her new LP Bystander is out, and she'll be playing 2 record release shows, one in LA on Saturday, July 8th at Nebulon, and one in Brooklyn on Saturday, July 22nd at Union Pool. For tickets, go to johannasamuels.com. Switching to self-promotion mode, you can keep up with the podcast on our Instagram at Rockerdog Podcast and find pics and info on all our guests. If you feel so inclined, you can pull up Apple Podcasts and give us a rating and review. Please subscribe to us on your preferred podcast provider so you never miss a great episode, such as the one you just heard, or the next one we have queued up with a member of a band made up of step siblings from Oklahoma. All right, it's time to let the roadies take the stage. We'll see you next time.